On,
Rule 4.
Rule 4, when two yachts sailing on the wind are on the same tack, the windward yacht shall keep clear. Same as summer. When two yachts are sailing off the wind on the same tack, the leeward yacht shall keep clear.
and that's the one big change there. And from regular soft water sailing. So the rationale behind that, and these guys can chime in on that, is when you're coming close hauled and, you know, around the mark, and as you start to go through those reaches and it really loads up the boat and hikes down, to control the boat, you need to continue to head down. And so once you're past that windward mark, you can't luff that person up. You know, the boat that's to leeward can't luff that person up. Even if they're trying to get speed, you have to give way as they are cranked up and going over the top of you. And so you have to give way in that because that's just a safety feature.
The most important thing to keeping that one in mind is be aware of who's around you as you're going into a mark and you're starting to turn down. You know there's a person inside, you know there's a person over you. Just be aware of it. If they're behind you, take a look behind you as you're coming to the mark. Just be aware of what could happen and think of those scenarios so you can react to them. If you're to leeward and the guy goes to a huge hike, you gotta dive to avoid them.
Yeah.
And it's awareness at that point in time, and that's really the first time that significant awareness comes in. You know, at a mark rounding at the top there is watching the guy to your right.
Anything else you guys want to add to that windward mark, you know, scenario?
No, if you're coming in slowly, it's especially important to know that somebody coming from some distance behind with speed is going to possibly go into a big hike and need to drop,
Yeah.
lay off quick, and you need to be able to get out of that way.
Right.
Yeah, and I think David is right that you're not only looking ahead to see what boats are ahead, you know, might cause a problem as you're watching ahead, but also just check behind you what the possible scenarios might be. You know, just quick check over your shoulder, check under the boom or something so you can kind of know who's around you.
Yeah, and if you're in a big fleet and you go, you know, you don't have enough room to accelerate after you tack, you know, up into this region, it is a nightmare. Boats are just flying past you because you're slow and you're trying to get heated up to be able to go downwind, and it can be a dangerous situation.
So the downward boat, the lower boat, as this boat comes around, is the best thing, and this is the down.
So the red boat.
So let's say this. So this is right, this guy, both of these guys are trying to go around this mark. And this guy's coming around fast, and this guy's gonna be in his way. Does he slow down? Does he go under the mark? Does he go up?
Well, it'd be past the
this
mark.
guy's got
It'd be past the mark.
He's outside, he's inside,
So
this
this is
guy's gotta
over
let
here.
him go around the mark. But now that they're down, once they're downwind, this guy goes into a big hike and dives down. This guy's gotta dive down
With it.
with him.
Or
Right.
earlier,
And-
to give this guy room to dive so he doesn't.
Exactly,
get to this
because
guy.
if this guy, the guy's got two options in a big hike. You dive or you drop the sheet.
Right.
And one thing that I would say that's not in the rules anywhere, other than avoid collisions, is that if you are a faster boat coming around that mark and you've got somebody that pinched it in front of you, as you come around, you need to be aware that you may not be able to dive down where you would normally dive down. You have to adjust for the slower guy in front of you. And you can ease the sheet and go out and then dive down, or if you can get inside of the guy and go on behind him inside, because you're gonna dive down much more than him. But you gotta pay attention to that slow boat and you have to adjust accordingly. And if you have to drop the sheet, you drop the sheet.